Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Shortcut Cooking with your Indian uncle. Today we are going to make a popular dish from Kerala and South India called Avial. I'm making this because some friends of mine requested it, but it's not really a shortcut method because I'm not much sure. I thought I'll make it the authentic way as much as possible and avoid the shortcut. Avial is a vegetable stew, and in fact it's vegetarian and vegan. So here is the ingredients. The first is these drumstick vegetables. I couldn't get fresh ones, so I'm using frozen, but they seem to be decent quality, not discolored, plump and nice. The next vegetable we are going to use is this vegetable. I'm not sure what it is, some kind of squash or gourd. And you can use white gourd or pumpkin ash or cucumber, ash pumpkin or cucumber. And then I've got these long beans that are traditional in Avial. Then I've got this, I think it's called tindora or kovekya. Kovekya in Malayalam, I think it's called tindora in Hindi. And we're going to use a carrot. And then there's going to be some coconut, some salt, and some yogurt. In addition to the other ingredients, you need about a teaspoonful of cumin and about half a teaspoonful of turmeric powder, and some curry leaves, and some coconut oil, and some, oh sorry, that's not meant for the recipe but for the cook. So Avial is a popular dish for banquets also, and for banquets I'll tell you there's something, one or two things are slightly different, and I'll tell you what I know about it. So let's get started. First we are going to cut the vegetables and then cook them in a little bit of water. The vegetables all have to be uniformly cut. My knife is not entirely sharp, so I'm just going to sharpen it if you don't mind. Just waiting a second. I love to see the sparks fly. Now that we have a sharp knife, let's go ahead and peel and chop the vegetables. Like that, about 2 inches or 5 centimeters, and similar thickness, so that they are uniform in appearance and cooking. You can use any kind of firm vegetables for this, but I would not recommend using mushy vegetables that turn to mush easily, because then the Avial vegetables are supposed to remain distinct and not all mashed up together. So something like certain kinds of pumpkins that become mush, or even eggplant, unless you cook it very carefully, is not the best choice. A small piece of shallot, about 1/4 of this size, might be okay. The coconut is proving to be a hard nut to crack. So I froze it so that it comes out a bit easier, and it is coming out easier, but I have to be super careful not to hurt myself with this sharp knife. Of course, you can use frozen shredded coconut also. In fact, I might be using that in addition to this if I find that I have too little of this after grinding it. For this much vegetable and this much drumstick, I'm going to use about 1.5 cups of shredded coconut. Okay, so I've got a pan here heating up. I'm adding some hot water, just a very small amount, like about so much. And I'm going to start with the drumsticks because that takes the longest to cook, and the tindora, which is some kind of gourd also, commonly used in India for Avial. And then I'll add my turmeric, about half a teaspoon. I can add more later if I want, but yeah, maybe. And then I'll add salt. I added quite a bit because there's going to be more vegetables coming in, and the beans also. The carrots and the squash can wait until later. So I'll close the lid and wait for it to heat up. Meanwhile, let me make the sauce that goes with it, the coconut paste. Okay, so into the blender go the coconut and the cumin. I am adding only about half a teaspoon at first. I kind of go by taste more than recipe amounts. So please try this out first before you attempt it to know what the correct amounts are. Then I'll add the yogurt. The yogurt tends to make this a little liquid and not so thick. So that's why I believe that in banquets people use raw unripe mangoes for making it sour. And then I'll add a little bit of salt, about half a teaspoon or quarter teaspoon really. Kosher salt is more salty than other salt. So let's see now. One ingredient that I forgot to mention is green chillis, an essential item, and you can add it to taste. I'm going to add 3 here. These are not very spicy, hot. So you can, Avial is traditionally not very spicy. So, but I think I can handle these 3 easily. I'm going to add some more yogurt. I'm adding a total of about half a cup. Very sour yogurt is better for this. The vegetables have been cooking for almost 10 minutes. So I added the remaining carrot and the squash, and they're steaming away. And I added a tiny amount of water, about 2 tablespoons of water into the blender to get the last bit of the coconut out. And there it is. Now I have quite a bit here, more than I need, but I am going to probably add it all anyway, because in Kerala cooking, an excess of coconut is always welcome. So there it is. It's about a cup and a half, including the half cup of yogurt I added. So about a cup of coconut. As you can see, the vegetables are kind of done, and here's my sauce. And the last step now we're going to do. Here's a look at the curry plant that has been supplying me curry leaves for many years now. It looks a little down right now because I think it's in shock because it had to be moved quite a distance, and the weather here was very windy and I had left it out here. In Texas here, it's getting to be winter and it's a little cold. Anyway, I think I can pick a few leaves without it suffering too much. For the last step, we are going to add our sauce. I'm going to add most of it and leave a small amount back, and then look at it. So after you add the coconut, you can barely heat it up, don't let it boil. So now you can check for salt, and for the final step, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. This is quite a lot, but coconut is the star of the show here. the curry leaves. I like to put a lot of curry leaves there. That's enough. About 4 sprigs of curry leaves. And then I check for salt. I was fine. I salted the vegetables and I salted the sauce. And there it is. And there is the finished product. So let me have a taste of it. It's good. Maybe not as good as my mother's, but close. Cheers.